We're live. We are now broadcasting to the universe. Welcome everybody to episode 249 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We're your hosts, Adam, Amy, and Russell Gibson.
What's up?
249, that's awfully close to what I would call a milestone episode, being 250.
Agreed. Not long away. We're just talking off air what we want to do for it. I think the conclusion was nothing.
Talk hobby.
That's right.
Talk hobby. I don't know. Maybe we'll reach out to some guests. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, it'd just be us celebrating, maybe with some fairy bread, cocktail franks.
Kind of like what we did for 100. Maybe we should do that. Just like go back and look at some of the stuff we did. And
yeah. Could be cool.
Yep. Alrighty. Hope you're well, mate. Hope everyone's well who's at home. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This week's show, we're going to talk about a record art sale, which doesn't sound like the hobby, but we're going to try and make that work. Collect media reporting on Snipes shutdown. We're going to talk more about the Beckett data breach. We're going to talk about the Toronto Raptors. They are absolutely on fire at the moment. The last time I checked, 9 games in a row on the winning streak. I'm going to ask Adam what his biggest hobby regret is. We're going to talk some Prism Black this week. In particular, Steph Curry, because his sales have been absolutely insane lately. Yep. And then we've got a whole bunch of other stuff to run through too, but that's the big boys to start with. So to start off this week, we're going to talk about a piece of art that sold at an auction for $88 million plus fees. I'm assuming shipping would have been on top of that too.
Yes, probably. More than likely. More than likely.
And so if you're an art connoisseur like myself, so I would call myself a very, very, very low level. Like I like looking at, pretty pictures, but that's all. But I think everybody at home will know what this piece of art is. So it's the Great Wave, the Japanese Great Wave. It's that super iconic one that everyone has seen, either the actual one or they've seen a copy of it or something like that. And
yep.
So that recently sold for $88 million. So after I saw that come through my newsfeed, what really got me thinking was Wondershine, because I wonder if he sees pieces of art selling like that and he's looking at some of the cards that are selling in the market and thinking to himself, these people don't realize what they've got. Like these are, genuine pieces of art, and in the future they're going to be going for these.
Oh, they're relics. They're relics. They're antiquities. They are rare pieces of history.
And I think he has mentioned about artwork in his spiels at some point, but just seeing that really sort of hit home that concept for me. So
yeah,
I thought while I'm introducing one of the cards that should or could be in the Wondershine, why don't you click on the Card Ladder all-time sales data and see if you can pick out something that you think might be, and I'll run through this and then we'll get Adam's take on this too. So for you all folks listening at home, you can Google search the 2003-2004 Upper Deck Ultimate Collection. Ultimate logos. That's a lot of ultimates in that sentence. Signature, Michael Jordan, signed game used logo and patch 1 of 1. So that sold for $2,928 in June of 2024. So it's probably gone up. You might even make an argument of $500,000 since that time, just due to all what's been happening in the super high end stuff in the hobby. I'm going to put this down I'm going to put this into the spreadsheet as a potential Wondershine card, just for the fact that it is a 1 of 1. It's got the logo in it. It's got the 1 of 1 handwritten inscription on it, and also that amazing Jordan autograph on it. I think the other thing about this card too is sometimes it's really difficult to tell, but we've seen some of these high-end cards come through with a bit of damage on them, but this looks pretty clean. It's only graded authentic. It's not graded, PSA 8 or 9 or 6 for that matter. But
it's a beautiful looking card though.
I deliberately put that in for that exact reason, though, Ad, because like taking that back to the artwork thing,
Yeah.
like in very small instances, I can actually see how he could be making that connection into his head. We're going to talk
Yeah.
about some of the manga cards later on. I think that's like a much lower down example of it, but I think we can talk about that. That's a fun one to throw in there too, because some of the artwork they've got on that's been amazing. Is there anything that took your eye that could be in the Wondershine Index, Ed?
Well, I thought I would go for a recent player, someone that's still playing. It's LeBron James, the 2003 Upper Deck Exquisite Collection.
Oh, yeah. Nice one.
Yeah. The gold patch, which is it's a rookie patch auto, number to 23.
Oof.
So, yeah. And
That's well played.
And that last sold for 4.25 million in August this year. So, not very long ago at all on that. So, look, I think the number to 23. So
it's actually very clever.
It's interesting with the art context, I guess, that we're going to layer this with. The one of ones are one of one pieces of history. I think that art parallel is very much true and correct. The ones that are numbered are very interesting because obviously players sign photos and things like that. I have some Kobe Bryant autographed photos that were limited runs. So I have an 81 point game print that has been signed by Kobe, and that's numbered to 24 as well.
Yeah.
So like that's the idea, is it's a rare piece of art that I display.
So do you consider that art or memorabilia, or do you consider that to be part of your card collection?
Definitely not part of my card collection. I would call it memorabilia. I would put it as art. I framed it and it sits on a wall. So
yeah, interesting. Final thoughts on this, mate, before we move on to Snipe.
I think there are a lot of parallels between artwork and collectibles. I think the Wondershine Group have done a lot of good work identifying that there is not a change, but do you remember a little while back we talked about the eBay reports and how more people are collecting these days?
Yeah, for sure.
I think they've identified that trend and seen what collecting other stuff would look like when you use art as a parallel. Because you've got art collectors and now you've got antique, like different types of collectors.
I think the eBay thing is one population, but I really, particularly for the Wondershine stuff, because it's so far out of my price range, I actually wonder if he's sort of defining his own collector subset, where it's this like ultra high end. It's a very exclusive, group of people that are trading in this stuff.
Without a doubt, but in order to justify the demand, I think he needs a basis of society collecting stuff.
But maybe also too, if it then becomes considered art, he can then sell that to investment groups, or he can sell it to, private equity that are, looking for some high risk investment, something like that.
So that's definitely a narrative that they're driving to. They're really trying to bring collectibles into the mainstream and make them tangible assets. Yeah, for sure.
This is from Collect Media, or Darren Rovell, which we've spoken about Darren previously on the show if you have listened before, many, many times before. He went out and started his own media network. Basically, that's what he's trying to do with this Collect Media. The story reads very, very simply: breaking, power seller Rick Probstein is closing his new auction platform Snipe and returning to eBay following a failed launch. That was dated November the 25th. So for some context, we recorded on the 23rd. So this has happened in very quick succession. So last week we reported the data breach that occurred.
Yep.
And if my memory serves me correct, that sort of happened on the 21st or the 22nd. The 23rd we recorded. The 25th this came out. So that's on the Tuesday our time.
Yeah.
And then basically I was checking out on eBay. He already had cards listed up on eBay before, even this was officially announced. Like he didn't have many. He had about 70 cards on there, but either his eBay platform never 100% fully shut down, or he was just back to business almost straight away. So I think there's a few things for us to break
Unpack,
down
yeah.
here. Yeah, and I think the first thing that we should probably do here is talk about actually what happened in that space. So what has been now confirmed is that they did have a massive data breach.
Yep.
The data breach was then shown to have all of their customers' data, within that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
as well as bid histories and things as well, though.
Yeah, so that's the other thing too, and that's what we spoke about last week. And I feel like the way that we used the wording last week, we were confident that it happened, but we weren't certain that it did. Whereas in the week now it's played out, there's a lot more evidence to show that in fact it was either Probstein himself or employees of the company. And so, I think this is very divisive for people throughout the community, because some auction houses actually are very explicit about that and will say in their T's and C's the staff and employees will do it. And then there's other auction houses that don't do it. And it also seems to be, it depends on the state where your business is listed, whether it's legal or not. So I think there is a little bit to be, in that space. But I feel like this was a big deal for people in the hobby because it gave them the smoking gun. They've always suspected that this man had been guilty of shilling up his bids.
Yeah, for sure.
And now there's actually, sort of evidence of
tangible,
that. So,
like something hard evidence to back it up.
The really interesting thing for me, though, is that so you can't buy that type of publicity. And I don't think this is the same example, but do you remember that time when Cherry got into a bit of online trouble when they were flashing around those Luca base rookie cards? And their policy at the time was not to ship base cards out to people. So then they were holding on to people's base cards. And then that kind of like Grayson took a lot of blowback for that. But I think probably, now in hindsight, that media that they received for that was so powerful then because it got them. You can't buy that many clicks, right?
Is that one of those any publicity is good publicity because it puts the spotlight on you, right?
I think in that particular instance it did. And that's why I'm a little bit confused on this a little bit too, because it's like you can't buy that much publicity in the hobby for this. And so the breach must have been so bad, or the damage to their website must have, because it's also possible that their website was damaged. And I'm skipping a little bit ahead here, but Beckett's website was damaged in their hack.
Okay.
So you wouldn't put it. I didn't read that anywhere about Collect that happened, but that kind of in my head, that's what I'm thinking. Because why would you just abandon ship when you've invested all this time and money into it? And really, it didn't even last a week, Ad. Like it was a very quick, failed operation. Let's go back to eBay. So I think that's like one part. The other part is eBay. So what's the ethics around eBay accepting them back? Like, how do you feel about, what's your take on eBay just taking them back now knowing that he is a shill bidding connoisseur?
Surely they just monitor his the way his bidding patterns and things are, right? Does eBay have safeguards and things in place to monitor patterns of behavior? Look, if this guy's putting an auction and then bidding, he won't be bidding on his own, like on his platform. Will he?
I think allegedly this has been going on with him for ever and a day.
Yep.
And I think that was the reputation and I think that's what got him some notoriety, is that if you sent your stuff to Probstein for sale, you would get, the best.
Yeah. But it wouldn't be
your cards.
But this is the cost of investigating him, right? He's not got one little account that goes bid. Right? There are other accounts that are associated with him that put bids into shill auctions up. So the question is, how do you police it? I think shilling's probably one of the most unethical things that happens in the hobby in that sense, in the auction sense. But the follow-up question there is, how much do you invest in protecting yourself from it? I know there are platforms that have a zero tolerance towards it. The question still is, how do you stop it?
Yeah, but I don't know the answer to that. And
Because,
I think,
but you know what I'm getting at. Like, if your cousin's second, like, someone estranged from the family, related to somebody else, bids on your behalf, how do we prove that?
yeah, 100%. And I'd also assume too at this point he'd be a very slick machine with VPNs and
Correct. I just
changing
say he's a
IP
pro.
addresses and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's like I think that's that part. But I think coming back to eBay, at the end of the day, the thing they care about the most is getting their percentage.
Mm-hmm.
And so we all know, and he's been very public about the volume of sales that he's done. It's in the billions now. So we're not talking about a small amount of money in this particular instance.
Yeah,
for eBay.
without a doubt, without a doubt.
Yeah. And so I think eBay care about that. I think the other thing that eBay care about too is returns, because I think while shilling is and I just actually want to clarify this like really quickly now. It may seem like I defend people who shill, but my true opinion is I don't agree with shilling at all. But the way I try to look at it is like, this is just like the world we live in. And so what I'm about to say now is like, I suspect that eBay don't care about that. I think what they more care about is the percentage of returns and how much money they get back from.
Well, this is why they didn't ditch him in the
sales.
first place, right?
100%.
Like, even though they're
100%.
allegations, if they were seriously concerned about it, there'd be investigations into it.
Yeah, because I think also too about someone like Probstein, like, yes, with all the problems he does have, there are also some things that he's done really well. Like, for example, and this is not advertisement for Probstein, but they know how to pack their stuff really well.
Sure.
And so I think this is something that we also encounter in the hobby. You can pay someone your $150 for a card, and then it gets damaged in the mail because they put it into like a PWE.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're not doing stuff like that. So I think they sort of create different things. We need to go for a break, and we'll come back and we'll keep talking about this because there's still a few more dot points that I wanted to get through.
100%. Let's do that.
This first ad break is brought to you by The Bang Man, ripping NBA case breaks weekly with fast weekly shipping straight to your door. The group is absolutely on fire right now. They recently pulled the Polo Banchero Immaculate Logoman Patch Autograph 1/1, which sold the very next day for $60,000 AUD. If you want in on the action, head to Facebook groups and search The Bang Man. Make sure that you use all caps when you search for Bang. Join the hype, join the hits, join the Bang Man. Now, one small note that wasn't written into our ad read here, but I'm going to add it in anyway. Amir has just added in a 1/1 bounty. So the bounty will start at $100. Each break that goes through a 1/1 isn't hit, $25 gets added to the bounty. When a 1/1 gets hit, not only does the person get the 1/1, they also get the bounty cash, which will max out at $1,000. So it's possible you could walk away with $1,000 cold hard cash and also a 1/1 card.
That's pretty cool.
Thank you to Team Bangman for your support. Alrighty, we're back, and we were discussing the shill bidding and the ethics around eBay and Collect Media's reporting on Snipe shutting down. So I just wanted to go back to the reporting by Darren Rovell. So if you go to the Twitter post that was on there, he was absolutely roasted by people online about his reporting. And I think what they were roasting him about was how little detail he included into his story. And I think that this is a really interesting one because the industry at the moment is small, and I suspect it's going to be getting smaller over the next few years as companies begin to monopolize things a little bit more. And I think what he was criticized around here was he didn't want to say anything critical to Rick Probstein around what happened. So, for example, nothing was mentioned about the hack. Nothing was mentioned about the data breach. Nothing was mentioned about people's, data being stolen, anything like that. It was just that the company's open, the company's closed. He's now going back to eBay. That's done and dusted. I'm not going to read out these comments because some of it's that very kind of like toxic
100%
Twitter /X stuff that, you get the gist of what I'm saying here. You don't need me to read this stuff out.
Yeah, for sure.
But I do think it's a really interesting time in the hobby in sense of how do you report on something objectively without ruffling feathers, And so I think this is something we're
It's a
going to have to
tricky
be,
one, yeah.
navigating at sort of some point. Maybe even ourselves as we move forward. But I think you do see it, to some degree with people online. All right, I'm going to leave that at that. I don't think I need to keep crapping on about that for too much more. What does this mean for consumers? This is the last dot point I wanted to talk to you about. So there's no platform that you can now, there's no alternative platform that you can now go to. So Snipe is, it's gone. That means there's less competition for Heritage. There's less competition for Goldens. There's less competition for Fanatics and their auction platform. Where are you at with this type of stuff, Ed?
Did we need the dodgy website? Do you know what I mean? Did we need the dodgy auction house? I honestly think this is a positive thing for the hobby in the sense that we don't need to space it out. We've got some big auction houses. There are some small ones and big ones. There's enough in the industry.
Yeah.
What we could do is with a little bit more regulation, and maybe the eBays need to start investigating how to detect this stuff. I mean, we've discussed before the break that they probably don't care, but there are platforms that do care. So maybe that's a differentiating factor.
Yeah.
Finding ones that have a zero tolerance to shilling. Even though if I've got a group of, if I've got my own little consortium of 100 accounts, how are you going to catch me for shilling? It sucks. It really sucks. I
really don't know the answer to it. There has to be some suspicious bidding. If you've got a zero account that's got
put a reserve on the card,
10,000 bids. I mean, maybe you're limited to X amount of bids per day or something like that to try and stamp out these new accounts coming through.
But yeah, I just it baffles it. I don't know how you police it. So yeah. I like to offer solutions to it. Be aware of it. eBay, stop increasing the fees if there's a reserve. Let them put reserves in. If they think a card's worth $500, let them put it at $500 rather than charge them less to insert it at 99 cents.
I think for me, what it means for consumers is that eBay is king once again. I really think actually the winner out of this is eBay.
Oh, eBay's proven that they're the...
we can talk all we want about all these other auction houses, but I think maybe the thing we actually do neglect to sometimes talk about is just the volume of cards that eBay, actually go through.
eBay are the PSA of the... Yeah.
100%, man. And I think, maybe what actually would be the most beneficial here is that eBay get their stuff sort of sorted out in terms of their return policies and how they can protect sellers a bit more. Because I think probably at the end of the day, that will be, the most beneficial thing here. All right, let's move on. Beckett data breach. This is now part 2 of this. We discussed this last week. In the meantime of this, there's been very, very little information released on this at all. And I think it's kind of a weird thing for me to say about this, but this is what I wanted to report, is that there's been very little on that.
We're reporting that there's still no statement from Beckett.
Yeah. I read an article from a nerd website basically just talking about the data breach that happened, the damage that happened to the website, and really it just sort of summarized there's nothing really new news on that.
Yeah.
This is from today's_hobby trends on Instagram, and he's basically just reusing gem rate data here. PSA cards submitted 76,000, CGC at 23,000, tag, which is new to the top 10 list, they're at 6,000, and Beckett's at 1,500. So it does just kind of seem like this is just a very slow death that's happening now to Beckett. And
yeah,
the thing that's interesting for me about this is that even though I see CGC and tag ahead of them on the list, I'd actually don't consider them to be number 4 in this list. I'd actually probably still consider them to be a very strong number 2.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just more my disdain for tag and CGC. But, we did find one other small thing just to say that PC Sports Cards isn't sending their cards anymore to Beckett.
Yep.
I actually don't have a problem with this. I think if a company is having that many problems on their internal processes, do you really want to be sending off more data to them, more cards and all that type of stuff.
No, I think you've got to protect your
Um,
customers, right?
Yeah,
And I think that's
yep,
a really respectful and responsible thing to be doing. Like, if you were to find out that Beckett have had such a data breach, why would you be volunteering addition? You've got new new customers that are wanting to sub to Beckett. You're like, before
yeah,
you send this off, should we tell you what's happened recently? Just because your data might not be safe.
yeah.
Like,
Toronto Raptors, congratulations, Toronto Raptors. You guys are on an absolute tear. 9 wins in a row from the time I researched this.
they're 4-0 in the NBA Cup, and they're headed to Vegas.
Playing some insane basketball at the moment. I don't mind the way that they play. I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to be a little bit like Oklahoma in terms of having just sort of an all-round team out there. They switch a lot. They don't really have a point guard out there, and I kind of think that's actually like another thing, like the future of the NBA. You're just going to have 4 or 5 guys out there that can just handle the ball.
Just ball handlers. It doesn't necessarily, it's positionless kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, 5 guys out there playing ball, and I think it's good basketball to watch.
Yeah.
Ingram is finally, starting to play really, really good basketball.
Touch wood,
So-
he stays healthy.
I thought the things what we could talk about now is we'd recap the trade
Yeah. That's a
to
good
the
idea.
Toronto Raptors, because this is an absolute heist now. We're looking back on it. So the Raptors gave up Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, and a first-round pick and a second-round pick. That's it. And my recollection at the time of this trade is that Ingram wanted an extension and the Pelicans didn't
Didn't
want
want
to
to
pay
pay
it.
him.
So
Yeah.
in those terms, it sort of changes the dynamics a little bit more. So that probably explains why they didn't get as much for him as they did. And he was also injured at the time too, wasn't he? So
Yeah.
I think that all sort of played into a part of it. But in terms of getting talent onto your team and not giving up too much back for it, well, the Raptors have won this absolutely hands down.
Without a doubt, yeah.
Raptors fans, please bask in the sunshine, because this is not going to happen very often. We're going to go through 3 of your Raptors players'
Whoa.
card values on this show. We're going to go through Scotty Barnes. Scotty Barnes is on an absolute tear at the moment. If you filter this down to 3 months, he is up 100%. So 3 months ago, he was trading at $100. He's now trading at $200. So we gave Joe Dennison a shout out last week. I reckon Joe's going to be
I'm very happy about this.
pretty happy with himself at the moment with this. Look, I love Scotty Barnes. I think there's a lot of potential for this guy. I think my concern with this guy is that he doesn't have that sort of Ja Morant, Anthony Edwards flair. And so
swagger about him.
whilst he's a savant on defense and he's a fantastic on-court communicator and he's so versatile, how much does that then translate over to the hobby? And I think that's probably my problem with this guy, where his talent absolutely exceeds his, true dollar value. I think the question here is buy, hold, or sell. Ad, where are you at with this guy?
I'm still in sell territory. I like Barnes, but I don't know if this hype bubble stays hyped for very long.
Yeah.
I don't like being critical. To all our listeners in Canada, I am sorry, but being in Toronto is a bit of a negative in the hobby. They're not one of those.
Except if you're listening to Central Coast Radio, mate. They
Well, this has been Raptors fans. It's just, I mean, I'm glad you guys like basketball, but hobby-wise, I mean, the tariffs don't affect Canada, so why aren't they buying heaps of cards? Maybe that's why they're the spike as well. Canadians are allowed to buy cards without crazy tariffs from America.
Yeah. Look, I think if you love Scotty Barnes, you're holding. And I think you enjoy the ride, and
This could be the year.
But let's just say you went into a random break and it was a repack and you hit a Scotty Barnes RPA, you should probably start to look at flipping it out, because
Yeah. If you've got
No,
you got a handful of rookies and you got a few,
he's going through a hot streak at the moment. I kind of feel like this guy's probably going to cool off at some point.
Right. What about something less miraculous? And say you've got a blue, like a red to 299. Would you sell then?
I think if you love Scotty Barnes, you hold. But if you've just got it in your collection and it's collecting dust,
No one's selling that card.
and you want to flip it onto someone else, and you want to put something else to your PC, yeah, I think now's a really good time to sell for Scotty
The
Barnes.
red looks
honestly.
really nice. It's a color match because he's in the white uniform too. That's a good looking card.
You love a good color match.
I love a good color match.
Emmanuel, quickly, if you've been buying this guy up at $1.80, you have now doubled your money. Congratulations. Woo! He is now trading at $3.56 for a raw. Look, I think quickly is a talented kid. I think they overpaid him hideously. But I would also say to, tread very carefully in the quickly stakes, just because
don't be too quickly to trade off quickly.
I suppose at the same time too, we're only talking about $3, aren't we? Like, you're not going to lose your house.
It's a buy for me. If I'm, why not?
Yeah,
it's under $5. It's a buy.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
This next one's really interesting. This is Brandon Ingram. He's trading at the moment at $95. The population on this is just 200 ad. When you scroll out to all time, this is the really interesting thing. So in the first 12 months,
we know why that is though.
445. He was a Lakers guy.
Yep.
He then went down to about 300 and he sat there for quite a while. Through COVID, I'm going to say it just because we can, he was up to 2,000. And it's been a very, very steady down decline. So if you look at him the last 6 months, you could have picked him up for $50. And I think that's an absolute bargain. Look, at $95, I think that's totally fine.
Yeah, I think 95's fine still. He's.
I think my problem with Brandon Ingram is I don't think he's really the type of guy who is collectible in the hobby, who people want to like turn him over and flip. I think at this point in time, it legitimately is a PC only purchase.
Yeah, I mean, he's what, year 7, 8 in the league, 9,
mate. We're getting old. Yeah.
Far out. Yeah, he's definitely PC. He's not he might be rejuvenating his career, but it's not going to reflect hobby-wise, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Good to see Toronto doing well.
Yeah, 100%. Makes the league more interesting. I think having one or two teams sort of shock us each year has been great. Like Detroit's been good this year.
Detroit's been great.
Yeah. The Wizards have been god-awful.
Yep. Well, I was correct about that. I was not correct about Toronto because I thought they were going to be down there with the Wizards.
Yeah.
They're definitely not going to be.
Neon Trading Cards. Go to www.neontradingcards.com. There you'll find all manner of breaks. Soccer, NBA, MLB, F1, AFL, NRL, WWE, UFC, Marvel. They have a rewards section. They've also got sealed product for sale. Check them out on Whatnot also too. They are the one of 3 breakers in Australia to be able to do repacks. They are also the #1 breaker on Whatnot, partnered in Australia with Fanatics/Tops. So congratulations to the guys with their partnership on that. One break at the moment they've got featured is a 2025 AFL Eminence full case. Pick your team starting from $69 AUD. Shipping worldwide. I better check this before I say this. It's free postage. Free postage, domestic and international shipping. So guys, if you're listening in Canada on Central Coast Radio, if you're listening to this in America and Philippines, you want to get in some breaks, you want some free postage, the Neon Boys will take care of it for you. Thank you very much, Neon, for your ongoing support. Adam, we're back. How are you, buddy?
I'm very, very good.
Now, I'm going to steal this directly from Matthew Yuga. He put up a post on his Matt's Card Shop Instagram, and it's a banger. What is your biggest hobby regret? Adam.
My biggest hobby regret?
Yeah.
So, what did I see on Golden this week? Advertising one of their, you know how they do the weekly, here's a prize card that they'd like to auction off. Kobe Bryant, rookie 1996, the EX 2000 credentials, numbered to 499. BGS 7.5. Yeah, I owned that card once upon a time.
Was it actually your card, or
Yes,
like just
I owned
similar?
it. I owned that in that grade.
Exact.
I don't know if it's that card, but
Yeah.
that was the grade. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. PSA 7.5. Actually, mine might have
What
been
did it
an
sell
8.
for?
Mine might have been an 8 actually. I don't know what it sell for. It's up on the auctions, but recent sales say it's probably a 10K card. Anyway.
I mean, if this is going to cause you too much pain, we don't have to cover it. But
There
do you
was
want
a
to follow this up next week?
there was a point during COVID where I checked the value of this card, and there were 6 numbers with no decimals.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that would make
the
you sad.
the roughly not quite $1,000 I got for it way back when doesn't seem like enough. Anyway,
No. But it's also one of those things you just don't know. Like, who would have?
No,
predicted this?
in hindsight, I would have gone and busked for a day to raise that money rather than sell that card.
That's right.
Anyway.
Look, I actually have very little hobby regrets. So this is going to be
Positive.
a very light one for me because, like, I do buy and sell cards and I do lose money on cards, but I don't have like one that's a 6-figure one like that. But I probably think my biggest regret is probably Nikola Jokic because I really feel like I had OCD on this guy for the last 12 months. And for
Yeah.
some reason, I was just didn't want to pull the trigger. I think I was waiting for his price to go down. And it's just gone basically up and up. So if I'm looking at his graph now for the last 12 months, he's up 92%. So his silver was trading a little bit sub 3,000. It's currently now trading at 6,000 USD. And I just can't bring myself to pay that money for that, for a silver.
It's scary that as every year goes on, people are like, is he really that good? And then it happens and it's like, yes, he is. Okay.
He's
Next year,
so
is he
good.
that good? Now there are
He is
arguments
so good at basketball.
on whether or
it's
not
actually hard to understand.
he's literally one of the greatest centers of all time. There are arguments. I'm not saying that's my view. I'm saying there are discussions. He is entering a lot of discussions now. And they're
think he
not in a
deserves
jovial manner. The guy goes
yeah.
to work and he's incredible.
I think
yeah,
if he won more championships, the conversation would be different again. It'll be,
for sure.
is he in the top 10 of basketball players, not just centers?
Well,
That's where I'm at with this guy.
Yeah,
you know?
I think I think the way the Nuggets are going this year, they're off to a good start to put their hat in the ring anyway.
Yeah. Just to credit what Matt Yuga did, he spoke about a football card. It was about Deshaun Watson. I have no idea who this guy is, but it sounds like Matty could have sold it for a whole bunch of cash and didn't, held on to it, and it sounds like he's lost a whole bunch of money. But I think, I mean, if we're talking about pure losing money on cards, probably Admiral Schofield's been my biggest money pit. But I don't actually regret that, so I can't really...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, geez, that was fun while it lasted. Alrighty, let's talk about Prism Black, because I did get my hands on just 2 boxes. We broke it on the page. It was very well received. It's a really weird product for me. I won't go into this because we've already done this a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's like what they should have done forever.
Yep.
The quality control was good. The photography was sublime.
Yeah.
The production of the card was fantastic. And what I mean by that, of like just the design of the card, how each card is aesthetically appealing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think there's that part of it. The mangas, the color blast, 5 autographs per box. Like, it just ticks off so many different boxes. I
Yeah,
think
for sure.
the price has gone up quite a bit. There is redemptions in it. So, you know, there are some negatives of it.
Yeah, it's risky.
I think it's tricky to invest into something that is filled up with redemptions.
Yeah, for sure.
In saying that, I think, despite that, I think those boxes will hold very, very well. I think the potential of the mangas,
The
the Color
mangas are the
Blast,
big ones. The color blasts are awesome.
and now what we're going to go on and talk about now is Steph Curry. So
Chef
I
Curry.
didn't. I didn't actually write this down, and I can't credit the person who came up with this, so I apologize who I'm borrowing this off. But basically, the post was saying Steph Curry's heating up, and so are his sales, right? It was
Yeah.
something along those lines. I
Yeah.
can't credit the person, though. I didn't write it down. Anyway, True Gold 7 out of 10 sold for 17,999. So I'm just going to say these prices, they're all USD. So
Yep.
let's just get that out of the
Yeah,
way.
that's fine.
Another numbered to 10 sold for 12,499. The gold vinyl Fodal number to 5. That's outrageous. They would do it as gold vinyl, but I'll let them go on that. That sold for 20,933. The Cherry Blossom sold for 10,200. The Gold Shimmer Auto 4 out of 10 sold for 9,200. The 5 out of 10 also sold for 9,200.
Wow.
So that's just him in his
in that set.
natural, in the photography that they've put into the set, right?
Hui, hui, hui.
Now let's move into his short prints. The Color Blast PSA 10 sold for 9,200 and 8,459. The Manga PSA 10 sold for 45,000, 42,000, and 35,000. I checked the serial numbers on the mangas because I was like,
It could be
has
the
someone
same.
just
relisted.
shielded this up, resold it? No, it was 3 separate sales on 3 different serial numbers.
Raw mangas.
Raw mangas have sold twice that I could find for 16K a pop. So, we talk about PSA and their place in the hobby. Well, you can buy it for 16, send it off to PSA. Let's just say it costs you 2 or 2,500. That's, you doubled your money plus more, on the resale of it. Like that's why PSA is going to be here forever, right?
Yeah.
So I took some photos of some cards, and I just want to just go through them with you. Just look at the photography. I know these are base cards. I know these aren't gold shimmers. They're not silvers even. They're not cherry blossom. They're just cards. Just have a look at the photography. So this first one is Tim Duncan. Okay, that's a red. That's a numbered card. I'm lying to you slightly, but you get the gist. It's just a lit photo, right?
It's a good photo. I love it.
That's such a good Tim Duncan moment.
Yep.
John Stockton. Like, that is the
classic.
That's the memory.
That's a classic John Stockton look, yeah.
Right. But look at the background ad, just like how beautiful that card is just like overlaid in. Like, it just aesthetically,
Yep.
It's not too much. It's not too little. It's
and I actually like the font.
Yeah.
Yeah.
LeBron James. It's not the chalk toss that's been done to death.
It's the
him
king
raising the roof, right? Yeah, maybe he's putting his crown on his head.
crown on. It's the king.
Ah, right. Yep. Even better. Tatum
hugging his precious.
Cradling his championship trophy. I believe that's also a Kobe throwback.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So again, they've
Prism Select used to do those where they'd have the shots with the championships.
Yep. Kawhi Leonard, that's just a nice photograph.
Just a nice stock photo, yeah.
SGA with his finals MVP trophy.
Interesting pose. That's all I've got.
I like it.
Yep.
Edwards, maybe he's doing a gang sign.
Maybe he's asking his lawyer if he has to pay the woman in the crowd.
How much child support,
yeah.
Cat doing the goggles.
Love it. It's such a good action shot.
Your boy.
Luca. Here's my boy.
If you do want to check out these photos, they're on our Instagram. Just go on and have a quick flick through them while you're listening to this while we're talking about it.
I've got them up for the YouTube.
It's good photography.
Viewers.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, so that's that. I think we should really quickly thread in here, though, about Steph Curry. We did touch on this, but I want to do it again. Steph Curry has left Under Armour.
Yes, he has.
Signed with Nike. 7 years, $780 million.
That's crazy.
As much as it is crazy, it's outrageous, I think he deserves every dollar.
Every dollar. And look, I think it's a very smart move. Let's be fair.
I'm sure he made a whole bunch of money at Under Armour, but I think that company is done and dusted. I think that this is going to actually improve his branding improve his exposure. This actually might make him more popular.
I love the second comment on the Instagram post. Nike's so smart they can use Curry to boost Nike golf once he's done with basketball. They can roll him straight into golf.
Well, that's I would never have thought of that, but why can't they do it now?
Yeah, true. Just release a pair of golf shoes. Why wouldn't you?
Just do a whole golf set.
Yeah.
The funny looking pants, the shirt, the hat.
He loves it. He's hit a whole...
The beige, the off-white,
He
the
loves
white.
his golf.
The cream.
That's cricket, not golf.
Oh, sorry.
Richie Benno.
Yeah.
Rip.
Yeah, 100%. All right, how much time we got? It's time for a break.
It is.
USSportsCardsAustralia.com.au. Go on to their website, to USSportsCardsAustralia.com.au. There you will find sports breaks, collectible protection, singles categories, hobby boxes, sports memorabilia, toys. Did you receive anything in the mail in the last week, Adam?
I have not received... Actually, I did. I got a letter from Vic Rhodes asking me to go to medical appointments, but I did go to the PO box hoping for goodies.
It's not what I was referring to. Maybe next week we can talk more about this. All right. Let's check out their hobby boxes. We haven't done this for a little while. Let's just do something completely random. Let's do soccer/football. What's Ross got for sale here? 2023-24 Prism, Panini Prism Premier League EPL Soccer Blaster Box for $75.99. 21-22 Topps Finest UEFA Champions League Soccer Hobby Box for $4.51. Mosaic La Liga Blaster Box for $55. And 21-22 Topps Bundesliga Soccer Hobby for $99. Also, don't forget, Ross is working steadily on his ComCA, which is a card consignment services. Send all of your cards into Ross on this. Now, there is something I need to talk to you about this week, Ad. One of our listeners of the podcast, Mel, sent in 400 card sub to ComCA in the last week. The card submission fee is now 50 cents per card, so Mel saved $200 on her submission just by being a You Can't Comp This listener. Just write You Can't Comp This on your sub sheet to receive a free submission on Ross. So thank you so much, Ross, for your support. Congratulations to you, Mel, on that. And another listener shout out, I'm going to do this at the same time. We had a listener shout out on the Spotify platform.
Nice.
We were making jokes last week about people weighing packs in GameStop being evicted.
Yes.
This is from Damien. I once took a box of Cocoa Pops to the scales in the fresh produce section of the supermarket to make sure I got a box with a lightsaber cereal spoon. Back to Mum's basement I go.
Oh my God. Next time there's a promotion like that, guess where I'm going?
So, you know, they say like criminals start small and sort of get bigger over the years. I feel like Damien, started off weighing Cocoa Pops boxes and then graduated onto Pokemon.
It's a bit funny. It's a lot funny, actually. Clever. It's all about that lightsaber.
Absolutely. MVP race.
Oh,
Let's talk some turkey.
It's a one-horse race. Luca's got it this year.
You reckon?
Oh, Luca. No.
So,
I think there's a few horses in this race.
I'm not going to say the odds because this is not what this section is about.
We're not sports betting. We are talking about who we think is leading the
According to
MVP race.
Vegas, SGA is 1, Jokic is 2, Luka is 3, Giannis is 4, but he's been injured the last sort of week or so. So I'm assuming this is 3 days old, interestingly. Tyrese Maxey is next at $51. And Cade Cunningham at 81, which is interesting. I would have thought Cunningham would be ahead of Maxey, but that's okay. So why don't we just talk a little bit of card values of a couple of these guys? We've already done Jokic today. Is anyone on this list that actually intrigues you? I think Cade's a good one. We can do Luka.
I'm joking.
Let's do. When was the last time we did Luka card values?
It's been a couple of weeks at least.
I feel like we talk about Luka a lot, but when was the actual last time we went through his Prism? I
Actually,
cannot remember.
it's been a while since we've done a check-in.
Yeah.
It would have been a few weeks ago
All
at
right.
least. Yeah,
Let's do
okay.
this. Population 2,402. PSA 10 silver is currently trading at $1,697. So, in the last year, that's up 73%, which is,
I was so
I think,
wrong on it.
it's kind of funny in a way, isn't it? Because, yeah, we were
We were way.
quite out on this. In the last month, he's up 13%. The last 3 months, up 23%.
Yeah.
Let's look at the last 2 years. That's probably going to give us the best amount of
2
data.
years is 2 years is pretty much the highest one is 2000 in May 20 at the end of May 2024.
Yeah, so if you chop that sort of peak out, then between January 24 and February 25, he was basically floating around 1,200 and quite overall, level there.
Yeah.
After that time, he did have quite a peak, and then he went down. But then he's just from May 25, he's just basically just very consistently gone up. So
Yeah.
I think Los Angeles has been kind to him. I think he's been playing well. He's in fantastic shape.
He's been playing some great basketball.
I think all the shade that you can throw at NBA players about not caring, not having good attitudes, like that guy cried when they traded him away from Dallas. Like, he cares about basketball deeply.
Yeah. He cares
think
about the
you've got
relationships he builds. Yeah.
I think you've got an absolute star in LA with this kid, honestly, man.
100%. Couldn't agree more. It was yeah.
So buy, hold, sell at $1,600. Let's just call it $1,700. Let's just round it up $3. Where are you at? With
I
this,
cannot believe I'm saying this. Maybe I have. I've drunken all the Kool-Aid. It's a buy.
Drink it, man.
It's a buy for me.
Okay.
Given the pop count of Wemby's, 2,000's not that bad for Luka.
All right.
It's a buy.
I tell you what. I think Luka as a whole is a buy.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say the same thing I said about Wemby cards. I don't want to buy silver. I want to buy something numbered. So just really quickly, the choice red numbered to 88. That's population of 25.
Yeah.
On the PSA 10. That last traded for 3,700. I know it is
Hi. Yeah.
a price jump, but it's not a price jump so far away that
It's impossible.
you know
kind
what I
of
mean.
thing.
Yeah. So I would rather put my cash into something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I personally have a Ruby Wave, and this has been so volatile that I don't even look at the prices anymore. I reckon I'm probably a little bit upside down on this. I bought this a couple of years ago, so I think looking at the trend on this now, it's gone down a little bit. But I bought this for a very long-term purchase, so yeah, I probably should have put it into like a numbered as opposed to a colored. But I just didn't want to get into a silver. I think that's what was my concern at the time. I was like, the population on the silvers is so high. This is 358.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that was my thought process.
I'm digging around in the purple category because I love a good color match, as you know.
Yeah, you do love a color
So the
match.
purple to 75, pop count 21, last sold for 8,227. Where's the other one? There's two other purples. The purple wave is 1,800, which has obviously been a spike since he was traded to the Lakers. What else is there? There is a fast break purple to 75, last sold for 8K. And then there's the purple ice, which last sold for 6,312, and that's numbered to 149.
I think those purchases are significant. Obviously, they're more expensive, but I think they're much better.
The targeted
numbered. I think if you can step up out of silvers and into that, I think you'll be much, much better off long term.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, it's obviously the fast break blue still an $8,000 card still. Like, he was drafted to Dallas, so.
Yeah. Really, really, really quickly, Giannis Antetokounmpo, population on his silver PSA 10 is 87 ad. Last traded for 7,500. All time, he's actually down from $42,000 at his absolute peak in the last 12 months. So he's been pretty steady. Actually, he's up. The last 12 months, he's up 35%, which is really interesting to me because I actually would have thought
Yeah.
he would have been down. Oh, no. So what happened was if you scan out to the last 2 years, he was at 14K.
Yeah,
It's
so
come
he's
down,
he's bounced back a
and
little
now
bit.
it's recovered a little bit. Yeah. So if you bought in at that sort of $5,000 point,
Yeah.
you've done very, very well for yourself.
Yeah,
So
he's tanked a
congrats
little
to
bit
you.
recently.
Yep. I want to do this one, which is a little bit of a funny one, Ad, but it's been on the run sheet for a few weeks now.
Sure.
And I just want to talk to you about it. You might actually just blow it off really quickly, and that's totally fine if you do. It's called Cheap Case Hits, the next day non-auto. And so the reason why I'm bringing this up is because Donruss was a product that was traditionally beloved because it had the first on-card autograph from the rookies in it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was a low-end product that had a high-end card return in it. So basically you got one per case, but they were like, if you got the Luca,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
$1,000 plus card out of a $200.
But it's the next day auto.
Box. Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
But then as the war between Fanatics and Panini broke out, and Fanatics was signing up the rookies, Panini didn't have that ability to do it anymore. So they did a non-autograph, but it was still a case hit. So in terms of population, these cards are actually, I don't want to call them ultra rare, but it's actually a rare card.
Well, it's a rookie next day is the Bronny one from Donruss, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've got that in the sold prices there. So if you just scroll down a little bit through the eBay listings there, one recently sold for $11.50. So I suppose what the narrative I'm trying to push here is these actually a buy, even though I think it leaves a lot of bad taste in people's mouths because it should have an autograph on it.
Do you know what's funny? That's still one of my. I mean, and this isn't to do with this segment, but the one Wemby I want is the autograph.
Well, is now the time to buy it?
It's $1,000.
Is it? Wow.
Like you look at the sales, it's ridiculous.
So a PSA 9 sold for $425 USD. That's wild, man.
Yeah. I wanted it in a PSA 10, but it's over $1,000. It's crazy. Yeah. Nuts.
See, I wouldn't spend that on a card.
No, I wouldn't.
I think I was intrigued by these because I saw them.
I thought I
for
would
really low prices.
Yeah.
That's what sort of piqued my interest. But now that you've just told me that, like that, no thanks.
But as soon as there's a little bit of hype around something, the prices go up, especially for graded cards, though.
That's wild, man.
But the Bronny James stuff will still stay pretty cheap. He's not getting much game time, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I just think, we talk about rare cards in the hobby and we talk about, cards that are hard to find. And I think what I was trying to spin here is actually these are cheap and rare.
Yeah.
Is it worth a little bit of a set chase there? But yeah, at $400, yeah, no thanks. I'd probably rather like a second year or like a Fanatics autograph from his rookie, even if it hasn't got the Spurs logo on it.
Interesting, right?
All right, sell cheap cards is the next. This has been headlined. This is from Instagrammer Biggie's Rips. And what he's talking about here is his thought process around he likes to buy up lots.
Yep. Buy collections and
buy collections, sort them out, do single sales, do auctions, do whatnot sales. And he's basically saying his return on investment, even though it's a lot more work,
is a higher percentage and makes more.
Yeah. So he's basically saying he's getting at least 50%, if not more, on his investment. And so I think this is really interesting because I feel like what we tend to see on Facebook groups is a lot of really big cards.
Yeah.
And we sort of see bigger sellers sort of, buying and selling, and we see repackers, buying and selling, but you don't really hear about, the little guy sort of doing stuff like that sort of so much. So I thought this was a really good one.
Yeah.
Where are you at with this? Are you interested in buying and selling a whole bunch of small cards?
Well, it depends on the platform because I was trying to articulate what he was doing, and then I saw through the post he's on Whatnot, and so I sell a little bit on eBay, but I couldn't imagine because the amount of work it takes to sell lots and lots and lots of little cards on eBay is quite arduous. Like it's a lot. It's photos, it's this, it's that. Whereas on Whatnot, you're on a video stream and very quick. So maybe it is. Maybe I need to download Whatnot and start that shenanigans.
Yeah.
Or eBay Live, which is happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know, if you can put a little bit of extra effort in to get a better return, I think it's a good idea. If you've got the time. You don't want it to be consuming and stressful for you. But I think I think there is money to be made in the cheaper card space.
Yeah. I think for me it's about time allocation. Like I've
100%.
got my fingers in so many other different pies at the moment, and just the age of my kids and whatever. And so doing the podcast, like that's sort
time.
of my that's my soiree into the hobby at the moment. And so I think when guys do stuff like this, I think you have to enjoy it. So I think
you need to love doing what you're doing.
Right. You have to enjoy sorting. You have to enjoy, getting $1 or $2. I think there's a horses for courses. So when I see guys doing this and they find their spot in the hobby, I'm like, fuck yeah, man. Like if this is what you enjoy, like it's fantastic. Like, keep doing it. So I mean, Joe Fu does it. That's the guy that we know personally who
100%,
goes out, buys out lots, flips cards out,
but he also uses it to fund his acquisitions of the bigger shacks.
100%. I'm sure this guy's doing it too.
Yeah, and it's 100%.
This is for you, buddy. Kobe to close.
Kobe to close. Which one have we got?
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to sit back and listen to you break this one down.
You're going to break my heart, aren't you? I knew what you're going to do. Yes, it is. It is a 2013 Innovation Kobe Bryant Kaboom.
Hang on a second. What?
Well, remember the fake Kaboom I got? It was like a year ago. It was a year ago.
No,
it was a while ago.
It didn't even click. No, sorry, mate. But no.
Kobe Kabooms will always be stuck in my heart with
okay.
With
so no matter the trauma will be there.
Trauma,
okay,
the trauma just bubbles to the surface. It's a sick looking card. Love it. 2013, as I said, Innovation Kobe Bryant, number 9. Should be number 8, let's be fair. Kaboom PSA 10, last sold for $51,376. Definitely not a Wondershine purchase because of the incredibly abnormal final sale amount and the low value, I guess. Pop count on it is 22.
I think you have to go through the sales history from the last couple of years, man, because that is significant.
All right, so 50 the 50K mark is recent. 30K earlier in the year. We've gone 2024. It was around that. It was hovering around that 25 to 30K.
Yeah.
Back in 2023, 9,000. COVID, it spiked to 30K again. But in 2019, you could have picked this card up for $150.
That is, that's wild.
Hobby regrets. We're going to go back to earlier in the show. Hobby regrets.
Maybe this is the hobby regret.
Buying kabooms
Why weren't we buying kabooms
10 years ago? Yeah.
Well, it's not even 10 years, man. It's like 6 years ago.
Yeah. 10 years ago, you could have picked it up for $50. Anyway.
Yeah.
Wow. Good card, though.
That's a banger. Thank you, Adam.
Thank you for another great show.
Thank you. Thank you to all our listeners out there on all the different podcast platforms. We've been having a lot more activity lately in that space, so thank you, everyone, to that. Thank you to our listeners on Central Coast Radio. We keep saying this the last couple of weeks, but we say it genuinely. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. Canada, America, in Southeast Asia. It's fantastic. It really does help us out a lot. We said we we're going to fix this up last week. We haven't done any work on it. We do have a buy us a coffee feature on our podcast description. If you want to send us a few dollars to say thank you for doing the pod, we would love that. We'll probably put it towards advertising or something along those lines. Probably buying basketball cards.
Look,
too.
We'll wait until everybody's got through the Black Friday sales, Christmas buying, and all the rest of it before we go and hassle them and ask them to buy us a coffee.
Yeah, that's it.
But yes, and by then, hopefully by then, our New Year's resolution will be to get an actual bit of scripting so we can explain things so much clearer.
A little bit better.
But yes, thank you to
other than that,
everybody for the support. Doesn't matter where you listen to the show or tune in from, be it live on the YouTube, watching it back on YouTube, watching our shorts on YouTube, going to Instagram and seeing bits of it.
Yeah.
Central Coast Radio everywhere, and of course all the standard podcast platforms. Thank you so much for your support.
Yeah.
Thank you, Russell, for another great show, and we'll
Thank you,
see
mate.
you all